everybody, welcome back to another Stoneforge gaming video. Today we're actually going to be taking a look at this Berserker Lord that I finished just recently. Now I'm going to be using him as a Berserker Lord for King's War, and I wanted to just throw a still up here just because I think the camera work slightly off-tinted the colors in here, but I just wanted to kind of throw this up here so you guys could get a look of a high-res photo of him. But this model is one of the Wild Ragers from the Skyborn Miniatures line. He's sort of supposed to be kind of like a character of some sort of Slayer's unit. The idea is I'm a huge, an absolutely huge fan of the Slayers from Games Workshop's Warhammer Fantasy, and I really wanted somebody that would a model that would kind of capture the essence of the old school Gotrek character, and which is, by the way, my favorite novels of all time. But this miniature kind of encapsulated everything I was looking for. Big, meaty, just thick looking, looks like you could hack off an orc's head in a single swing. Just really like the overall shape of him. Now, I painted this guy up with a lot of different techniques on the skin tones there. I actually used the same techniques that I showed in my orc skin tones video a while back. I only used normal, like, dwarf flesh with a little bit of a reddish, pinkish hue to it, just to kind of give him that almost tanned or slightly bronzed look. For the weapons there, I actually did a mix of, it's not true non-metallic metal, but it's kind of a non-metallic metal look where you're going from the very dark, almost black metallics all the way out to the shining bright silvers at the very edges. Actually, it's more of a silver with some white thrown in there just to kind of give it that extreme sheen. For the cloak, I actually did a little bit of wet blending to bring out some different tones, and so that you can see there in the center there's like a brighter line that's kind of running through, going through the whole cloak, and then as it goes out it gets a little bit darker, and then I dry brushed it all up. So the base of it was the wet blending with the additional dry brushes. And then for his little, like, sort of water sack, I'm not exactly sure what this thing is supposed to be here on his back. I know it's supposed to be maybe his backpack or something along those lines. I painted it up with a normal layering process and then added on some glazes just to kind of tie some of the colors together. And then for a lot of his clothes and stuff like that, well, really his pants and then his bracers or his wrist straps, I actually painted them up with the same base tone and then did different washes and different highlights so that they tie in and they match and they almost blend. They look like they're almost the same color, but if you look closely, they're actually different shades of a similar brown. And I did that because I wanted to kind of deaden the overall tone and make it a little bit more desaturated, which is a look that I like because it gives it a much more realistic look. And again, it's just the idea that I'm going forward, that I want it to be a realistic representation of what this guy would be on the tabletop. For his hair, I actually did a base coat and then I washed it down, and then I actually did several layers of highlights, only basically starting at the bottom and then continuing to hit higher and higher on, like, the mohawk and his beard, so that the overall effect would be that at the base of his hair it would be darker, and then at the higher points it would have that almost bright orangish red. And because I really wanted his hair to contrast a lot with his the rest of his gear. Basically, I wanted all of his stuff to look very bland and everything like that, and even his skin tone to look almost just very normal, very basic, and then have his red hair that was just kind of sticking out almost like fire. I didn't want it to actually look like fire. I just simply wanted it to stand out and contrast with the rest of it. And the other big thing of contrast that I had on here was the gold on the inside of the axes there with all the filigree and everything like that. And what I did there was, again, it's a similar sort of not true metallic, non-metallic metals, but very similar, where I went in with a kind of bronze color and then I washed it down, and then in several spots here and there I went all the way up to basically a slightly off-white, just so that it would kind of capture that almost gleaming gold look. I really wanted his axes to look like they were magical or something like that, even though the rest of his gear was very, very basic. And then his base and everything like that is kind of basic for my normal Borderlands style with some different kind of stuff thrown on. And I really love those Skyboar bases that they do. Well, I hope you have all enjoyed the Stoneforge gaming video, and I hope it has given you guys some ideas of some stuff that you might like to do in the future.